like you lost another one.
Oh man, it is good to be back. A special edition of Summer Showcase. Eye of the Storm is what I called this episode because we are here with Randy Schroeder, who is the co-owner of the Nordic Storm of the ELF. He was my co-host last year on the show Summer Showcase, which will be back this year. I'm looking for a full-time co-host right now because Randy has other priorities which are a little more pressing, which I completely am rooting for and hope for all the success in the world. It's opening day for baseball. Spring training is over. It is now the I guess the pinnacle of the pinnacle. Regular season starting today. It's the eve of the UFL season as well. So I figured why not have an ELF show? Randy, first and foremost, thank you for joining me, my man. Happy to have you back, and I'm excited for this. So how are you?
Me too, man. Thank you so much, Michael, as always, for the intro. Gets me fired up because it means it's almost time for some ELF football. And thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. Always good to be here.
Yeah, we're a little bit later, about 15 minutes late today as far as the overall start time was concerned. So maybe we'll get some people in here. I know Jamal was fired up for this as well. So
Yeah,
I'm sure that our unofficial producer will be here to join as well because that dude is the man when it comes to ELF knowledge and everything else as well. So as well, first and foremost, let's just knock the big things out of the way first because the Nordic Storm coming into their inaugural season, we're talking big signings for an expansion team here in the ELF. Let's start with the fact that you've signed the last two ELF MVPs in Jadrian Clark and Glenn Tunga, who've also been teammates for a long time with the Rhine Fire. How was that process? Like that process is like, I mean, that process must have been crazy. It must have been a whirlwind. Like, run me through it with the best as you can because I'm very interested on how that came about.
Yeah, I mean, I think from the beginning, and I know we've talked privately about this, but from the beginning, we just all kind of there's 5 more board members. What's up, Jamal? I see you on here. There's 5 board members, and then there's our GM, Paolo Christensen, and we all were on the same page from the beginning, which was we didn't want to join this league to go in with a whimper. Like we wanted to make a statement from the beginning, and we all kind of said like we're gonna die on that hill of we're all in. And so for us, it was really important to get the first domino, which was Coach Shoop. Just we're so thrilled to have him and our whole coaching staff. But Coach Shoop sets the tone, and we knew if we could get Shoop on board that there was a good chance we'd get some of those Rhine Fire guys to follow. And of course, Jadrian and Glenn being a big part of that, kind of a package deal. So I would say that was the first domino. And then once we got that, it was working hard on trying to get Jadrian and Glenn together to both come to Copenhagen, which we're just pumped we got them.
Yeah, no, for sure. Justin Kellum is with us as well. He's also, I mean, guys, if you ever need to follow anything overseas, I mean, he has everything and anything as far as leagues are concerned. He's put me on to so many of the foreign leagues. By all means, go give him a follow as well, and make sure you hit up the Athletes Forum as well podcast on YouTube. That's my man Jamal, who's ELF everything over there, and all that stuff as well. So go give him a follow too. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, by all means. Yeah, man.
All you do.
Yes. Thank you both for everything that you do because you put me on a lot, and now we can do stuff like this where I can have Randy on and talk about some Nordic Storm news. I think the biggest thing, man, is it's not just Jadrian and Glenn, you've made a lot of signings that are just, they're impact signings that kind of sent ripple effects throughout the league, man. Like, really, you guys have done a really good job this offseason.
I think it was important for us, like I said, kind of like a domino situation. We knew if we could get Shoop, that we could probably get Glenn and Jadrian, or at least we had a good chance. And we just wanted, like we said, we wanted the homegrowns, we wanted the other E imports, A imports to know we were serious. And so if we could get those, if we could get a Shoop, if we could get a Jadrian Clark, a Glenn Tunga, the rest will follow. We believed that from the beginning, before we even started pursuing anyone. So I think that's how we've been able to put together the team we have, is just building it from kind of the ground up with coaching, and then letting the dominoes fall as they may. But players want to be around good players and good coaches. So the more you can create that culture from the start, that was really important to us. And look, I also think that the expectations are high, and we know that we've set that for ourselves, but we're also just, we're taking it one day at a time. Like right now we're in OTAs. So it's just, how do we get better tomorrow when we have practice, and kind of trying to ignore. We also are realistic about the fact that this is still the first year in the league. These guys have never played together on the Nordic Storm. These guys have never coached together on the Nordic Storm. And so try not to get caught up in all the extra hoopla, if you will, like just controlling what we can control, which is getting better each and every day.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously that's always the biggest thing. And you've talked a lot to me off screen and off air about a lot of the process behind the scenes of like how you guys have approached this off season, what you guys are expecting for an expectation. You made zero qualms about or zero doubts that the only thing you guys wanted to do was come in and just be like a legit serious, like, this is all in, like, we're here to stay type of situation. And honestly, with all your offseason moves, I think you've done a fantastic job with that. Straight from the head coach signing all the way to your last signing. It was a linebacker. What was his name? I can't remember his name.
Yeah, he played with Ryan.
Yeah, he played with Ryan, right?
Yeah, shoot, we just signed him.
I can't remember his last name. I just thought.
Emmanuel.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't say his last name.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Falala.
Oh, when I get over there, I'll ask him how
it's pronounced.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know how it's pronounced either.
So I don't. Yeah, I was about to call him E-Man, but I was like, I don't know him that well, so I don't know if I can do that yet. But I'm gonna call him E-Man. I think that's what Adrian calls him.
Hey, I mean, E-Man. We'll call him E-Man then. It'll make it a lot easier for sure. But Fiola.
Well, and he's going to help us so much just with, we feel really good about where we feel good about where our defense is at, but he just kind of is that last missing piece for us, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. Jamal has a question in here. He put it in the chat, but we can talk about it a little bit. He said he wants to know what the identity that the Nordic Storm are trying to build this offseason.
Well, it's a good question, and I think it's something that Justin actually put in the chat. It was just, we wanted from the beginning to surround this team with a bunch of winners, guys that have won before, guys that have played at the highest level in Europe or in the States or wherever, or Denmark or Sweden, wherever we're getting guys from. We want them to be winners, and that's very important to Shoop. It's very important to us. And it's just we just have this feeling that if the culture around the team is one that encourages hard work and camaraderie and winning, then it's going to attract more players like that. And then it's going to like bringing in a guy like Jadrian, for example, and Glenn, right? Guys that have won multiple championships, guys that are MVPs. They're just going to raise the caliber of play of everybody else on that team. So we're hoping that it kind of accelerates the learning process for those homegrowns. If they can surround themselves with those type of guys every day, Chad and just everybody that we brought in from other teams around the league. They're proven winners. And so obviously it's hard to create a winning culture when you haven't played a game, but
Right.
Jamal, that's kind of what we were trying to do, is just let's put as many winners on a team as we possibly can.
Yeah, and it also helps that they have camaraderie, right? Like, you're talking about guys that have played together for a while. Like, Shoop obviously is a big draw for a lot of the offensive players for Ryan, but you were able to get, E-Man, as we were just talking about, who played with Ryan, and you brought over a couple other guys from, I believe, if I remember correctly, from them.
Max played with Ryan too.
Yeah.
So it's just we're even Brandon, our import receiver, he was with Potsdam. Like, we just wanted a team full of winners.
Yeah, and you guys have done a great job building this from the ground up, because, like you said, a lot of times expansion teams come in, they kind of fledge for a little bit, but the last couple of years there's been some pretty good success. Like Paris came in, they put together a pretty good team, made some noise. The Madrid Bravos had a great, had a great first year. And then you see the other side of it too, where some of the expansion teams kind of struggle and are still struggling from that standpoint. I want to shift just a little bit, and we'll come back to the Storm in a second, but a lot of kind of interesting, and it feels like a lot of high talent imports into the ELF this year. How are you guys keeping an eye or approaching? Because obviously football is it's not black and white. It's very fluid. You have to adapt and stuff. How much are you guys paying attention to the other influx of talent coming in, and how much of it is just you guys focusing on laying the foundation for this team this year, and then maybe just taking the other stuff as you get to that bridge?
Yeah, it's a great question, because we're certainly paying attention to it, number one. Right. But two, and most importantly, is we're focused on us. And then kind of like under that, we are focused on the teams we got to play, right? So we got to go play. We got to go play Helvetic in the very first year. So when they signed Aaron Jackson, and then he left, and then they signed Cole? What's his name? The receiver, played in the NFL for a while, but
Keelan Cole,
Cole, exactly. So it's just, and not that he's just the only guy, but we have to. I mean, you have to pay attention to that stuff, because that's week one, right? So we're already game planning. How do we best attack that situation? So we're certainly paying attention to it, and I think it's great though. Overall, it shows how much this league has grown over the past few years, which is really exciting, just from like a fan perspective, from a growth perspective for the sport. Just to bring in this type of talent is awesome.
Yeah, and we'll touch base a little bit. We'll come back to that a little bit later, talking about the ELF as a league as a whole in a little bit, because there's some other topics that I would like to discuss, and I know that you will love talking the ELF action anyways across from that board. Yeah. Justin, obviously.
And can I point out one thing too?
Yeah.
How much do you have to send? Oh man. So I'll tell a quick side story. So I went over to Copenhagen for our first combine in November. We had a kind of like an open tryout or invite only tryout, but we had a ton of guys from Sweden, from Denmark, just to test them, see where they're at. And J-Dream wasn't there, obviously, and we had kind of two parts to the day. So the quarterbacks were there for the first part, and then they all left. And I'm sitting there with Shoop comes up to me and is like, "Hey, are you going to be ready to roll if we need you to throw to running backs and tight ends? Because the receivers are left, the quarterbacks are left." I was like, "I got you." I think I threw 300 balls, and my arm was about to fall off after. I'm like, yeah, it's probably called it quits at the right time. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so Randy's like, I want to become Bucky Barnes and just have a mechanical arm there.
I think what? Yeah, Caroline says that's what they call me, Bucky Barnes. I got some friends over there.
You do kind of resemble Bucky a little bit. I'm going to say you kind of resemble him a little bit. Now that I said that, you do kind of have the.
There's some people over there that's what they call me.
That's fantastic.
But I do think too, just apart from the players that have joined the league, look at the coaching talent that has joined the league. I mean, Jack Del Rio, like I'm excited to see how he does in Paris. There's just it's exciting times for the ELF.
Yeah, and I think Justin is going to make a meme of you as Bucky Barnes, by the way, just so you know. Jamal wanted to say that
It's going to be like, Mom, can we see Bucky Barnes? And
yeah.
it's like we have Bucky Barnes at home, and it's a picture of me.
Yeah, the Wish version of Bucky, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Jamal wanted to let you know that week 1 will determine how much friends you guys really are, like how deep that connection is.
Hey, Helvetic looks good, and
they do.
Jeremy is doing a heck of a job over there. I do have to say, I talked to him a good bit, and he's awesome. So I'm excited for what they have going on this season. And we don't know. Nobody knows what we're getting into week 1, and they don't know either. So it'll be a fun game.
Yeah, that for sure. I mean, you're talking about a team on paper that's improved versus a team that's never played a snap in the ELF. Yeah. So, well, I mean, I don't want to say a team that's never played a snap, but a team that's come together for the first time that hasn't played a snap, because Jadrian and obviously has played a snap. Though you got some compliments here from Jamal for being a Helvetic fan. He is very applauding of your moves. So,
yeah. Jamal, do you approve? What do you think of I guess I don't know what you can say in the chat, but what I guess what part of the team, what position group do you feel like is the most underrated? That's my question for Jamal.
Okay. That's okay.
Because I have my answer, but I want to see what he says.
Okay. All right. I mean, you've been around the team. I think you have a little more insight to that. So I mean, I'm sure that you're going to probably say a position group that we probably think could have a little bit of an improvement on. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see what Jamal says first before we get to that. All right. Obviously, you guys wanted to come in, make a splash. You guys have the tight end. He says tight end.
Tight end.
Tight ends, you're underrated. Is your underrated position.
Even with Adria?
I mean, right. I thought tight end looked good from my standpoint. I mean,
he doesn't know all his imports.
Caroline said he needs to get up on his imports.
I have a feeling you were going to say like a linebacker.
I was going to say receiver.
Receiver. Well, I mean, receivers are nice too.
Yeah, a lot of homegrowns that people haven't seen yet, and I'm excited for people to see them in action. Some guys I've played with, some guys that crush it at the combine, some guys that are crushing it in practice right now. And
I don't know why I went defense. You're an offensive guy. I should know better than that. What am I?
Well, I think linebacker. Yeah, I think linebackers. I do think that we have a chance to be really special for the same reason. There's a couple guys that haven't ever played in the ELF. We got E-Man, we got Ludwig, and they're great. But there's a couple other linebackers that I'm really excited for the ELF community to watch play, because they're special. Some Danes and Swedes that we got.
So let me ask you this. We'll come back. Jamal elaborate a little further, but let me ask you this, because as a quarterback, and me just mentioning that you're an offensive guy or whatever, has moving and shifting to becoming a co-owner changed the way you've looked at the game as a whole, or is it still very much through the quarterback lens?
I think when you're watching the game, yeah, that's a great question.
How about that for you?
It does change the way that I look at the team, because it's a family, it's a passion, it's also a business, and correct. So it makes you understand some things when you were a player that drove you nuts, or that you didn't understand as a player. That I'm like, I get it now, right? And but I do think from just watching the game, no, I mean, I never will be able to not watch a game and be like, oh, okay, they're in 12 personnel and the defense is rotating the safety down. Like, oh, the quarterback just alerted it. He's probably checking the play action. Like, I'm never going to be able to not watch a game like that. And I do. So watching the game, yes, but just from the overall, like day in, day out of watching and seeing how a team operates, it definitely changes my perspective just on like kind of on that level. And then I want to touch on too, Jamal is right. I get what you're saying.
I was just getting ready to mention this right here. This is what he was talking about as far as.
Yeah, that's very true. And that's what I'm excited about too, is just the personnel groupings that our offense can get into. I mean, we could get into 13 personnel, 12. We could get into 10 personnel. We can line up an empty. It does 21. We got I think a lot of things that you got to prepare for. And so I think it's tough on a defense when you got to prepare for all those personnel groupings and everything that Coach Shoup wants to do. So, yeah, I do think you're right with the tight end, Jamal. Sorry for making fun of you. And then
sorry for making fun of you.
Jacob Green is my guy. That's one of my best friends in the entire world. So I am excited for people to watch him. He's crushing it right now in camp.
Yeah, so for viewers out there that are watching this podcast, I guess show, I want you to go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for the Shady Sports Network. Thanks and shout out to Sam for once again giving us a platform. Make sure you follow ELF too. Make sure you get on the platforms, follow everything the European League of Football. They're doing big things over there. As Americans, I think that we can do a better job of making sure we're supporting all of football because the players are a lot of talent out there that we're not getting a chance to see. And I think that the more that we expose this, the better it is worldwide for football. And also, while you're at it, I want to give a quick shout out to my boy Aaron Ellis. I know that he's a good friend of yours, but won his game this past weekend, signed with the Vienna organization.
Yep.
And he had one of the prettiest throws I think I've seen all of 2025. I posted it. He was on the run. Did you see it on Instagram? He was on the run. I don't know if you saw it.
I saw the Instagram.
He was rolling to his right. It was a beautiful throw and a beautiful catch too. Like it was
like on the sideline.
Yeah, it was like towards the sideline, but it ended up for a touchdown.
Okay, yeah, because I know I saw one that he threw like a 50-yard bomb to my guy that I played with at Surge, Mo Ridinger.
Yeah,
he's awesome. I love that kid. So, and he just signed and got there like last week, catching touchdown passes, and Aaron too.
Yeah,
so it is impressive.
That was probably one of the prettiest throws I think I've seen all of 2025 so far. So I mean, shout out to him. I just wanted to throw that out there. I know he's not watching the show tonight, but I'm hoping he at least gets back to him. I'll tag him and let him know. But I had to mention, I have to applaud good football play, and it was really one of the prettiest throws I think I've seen. So shout out to him as well.
Exciting to follow the AFL this year too.
Yeah. I mean, got all kinds of things following. I'm starting to get into the French league. Like I've been watching the Italian league. I mean, I've been the Hungarian football league started. I've been trying to catch where I can there. Like I think I'm just gonna have to start. I'm just gonna have to get like Rosetta Stone and just start learning all these languages because I just like in order to be able to keep up with it because I mean, football's a universal language. That's the great thing.
Yeah, football is football. So
yeah, I mean, I don't. The announcers are always good to hear, like even in a different language, and I can kind of get an idea what they're talking about just because it's football and I understand football. But like, it's good to hear backstories on players. I feel like so.
Yeah, it is, and I think what would be cool about the Storm is like we get to play in how many different countries this year?
6. I took a shot in the dark. I don't know if it's 6.
I don't think it's that many.
5.
Yeah. I think it's 3. I think it's 3. Poland. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I took a shot in the dark. It was complete. Close. I didn't know if you had to go to France or Germany or Austria or Hungary and Poland.
Thankfully we don't have to go to Paris. Thankfully we don't have to go to Vienna or Tyrol this year, but and we got to go to Switzerland. We got to go to Poland.
Yeah,
we got to go to Germany a bunch of times with our division. So
I would say with your division, definitely Germany is a big one for you, huh?
Which is a good looking division. I mean, I think Frankfurt's roster, people are going to be surprised. I think Frankfurt has a great roster.
I like Frankfurt and what they've done too. So
yeah, I am we're all impressed with what Frankfurt's done this offseason. Hamburg, too, has added some good pieces. They're going to be tough. And Rhine is Rhine. And then Berlin will be interesting. Berlin's kind of like man, it's still like they'll if they can figure it out before the season, they still like have a chance to win a lot of games. So
Hey, that reminds me, we're talking about Germany. Shout out to Cologne for actually engaging with people online.
yeah, shout out to Cologne
Shout out to Cologne for that, because they were not good with it last year. So
we were a little worried
shout out to them for
a
that.
little bit.
We were very worried. So shout out to Cologne for engaging with people there as well, because
That's the best, and that's the best way to put it, Justin. Berlin's gonna be interesting. We just don't know what we're gonna get. It's gonna be, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, Jamal says they're going to be young, which doesn't surprise me one bit as well. I had so quick confession, because I know that you're a busy man, so you probably didn't see it, but you're the third summer showcase show that I've had on the off season. I feel like I kind of like maybe stabbed you in the back there. I apologize, but we had
Come on, man.
we had Munich head coach Kendrell Ellison on, and we talked a little bit about the Chad Jeffries move on to Russell Tabor. Have you seen Russell play?
No.
You've never seen Russell play?
No.
Okay.
He went to high school close to where I live, actually.
Yeah, he went to UNC. He got recruited to UNC. He was.
And I think he played at Charlotte Country Day, which is down the road.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I coached again. I think he was graduated. I don't think that Caroline, my in-house producer, is gonna look up if
What's his name?
Russell Tabor. Is it Tabor or Tabor? I don't know.
Tabor. So apparently he played in the LFA, and Justin says he'll get you some film.
Yeah.
Apparently he played for Monterey.
Okay, sorry. Yes.
And Jamal said he's a fan. So.
Yes, sorry. I have seen his film. I've not seen him play in person at Carolina. Yeah. I didn't know where you're going. If I've been to seen him.
Oh no! I just didn't know if you. I didn't know if you've seen a game like of his, like not just highlights and stuff, but a game like.
I've seen film in the LFA.
Okay, all right.
I coached against him. Never mind. I've seen him in person. Is that him?
He was the Charlotte High School Heisman runner-up in 2020, so it had to be.
Yeah. So in 2020, I coached against him. I don't know if that counts.
Okay, Jamal said he did an interview with him on this page. I'm gonna have to check that out, Jamal. I had no idea you had.
Yeah, now I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm pretty sure he played in a conference. I did know he played at a conference that I coached in in 2020, but I was on the offensive side, so I wasn't playing for defense stuff, but for like their offense. But from what I remember in person was it's so tough in high school because our team was really good and they were all right. So it's just tough. It's tough when you like have somebody in your lap trying to throw every.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't know if we beat them by 30 or.
We beat him by like 30. He says just nonchalantly, just threw that out there like it was nothing. I was just curious.
The same guy I'm thinking of.
Well, I was just curious about it because I have seen him play in a game with the LFA, and honestly, I think he's a really talented individual, and I think he has a lot of potential, but he's relatively unknown.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people did, because even like Kendrell was, didn't really know who he was coming out, as well before they signed him. So,
didn't they sign him to like a 3-year deal?
It was a 3-year deal. Yeah, it was very interesting on that front as far as the way that they did it. So they have a lot of hope for him. So I was just curious. And then obviously, Jalen Henderson.
I have a lot of.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just to say, I whatever Sean Shelton does, I pretty much think is a good move. So if he liked him enough to sign him to a 3-year deal, then he's probably pretty freaking good.
Yeah, I mean, Kendrell and I had a really good conversation with it and whatnot. And then, my second show was with Jalen Henderson, who I think a lot of people were, I think a lot of people were very surprised that he hadn't been in the ELF yet. I don't know if you've ever had any experience of talking to him or anything along those lines. Great dude, great kid, good head on his shoulders. But this is part of the influx of talent that I'm seeing coming into the league. And that's why I was curious if you've been keeping an eye on it. Are there any other signings of imports, basically, that either have very limited ELF experience or no ELF experience that you're kind of excited to see, but you want to avoid per se?
Yeah. I mean, Jalen is one of them.
Yeah, Jalen's that dude, man.
Snoop has a saying, which is like, if we're not gonna get him, if he's somebody we don't want to play against, then we need to do everything we can to get him here.
Right.
And so obviously we got a lot of great players, and you know, I think that there's a lot of great players too that we would have loved to have that we unfortunately have to play against.
Yeah,
And you know, at every position. So Jalen's one of those guys though that's interesting. I think he's gonna just absolutely tear it up in Paris, and he's one of those guys we're really glad we don't have to play against, right? We don't have to play against Paris this year. We don't have to play against Jalen, which, and he definitely is somebody that him and a lot of other guys that we do follow. And he's young, so it'll be interesting to see how he pans out. But very glad we don't have to play. I'm gonna give Jalen his flowers. Like, very glad we do not have to play against him this year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Riley Hennessy's back. Isaiah Weed switching over to Haveldik. We talked a lot about Isaiah Weed last year, and
that's another one. We got to play against Isaiah Weed week 1, and Keenan Cole. So we don't know. You know, there's some talent.
Reed Sennett, who is with the NFL and with the UFL as well, is coming into this league.
And I've watched him play in the UFL
right
2 years ago. So and he was good. So yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how he does in Madrid with Andrew. I mean, Andy's one of my favorite coaches in the ELF. Just watching him play, he kicked my butt when I was at the Surge when he was in Barcelona. I got a lot of respect for him, but it'll be fun to see what he does in Madrid.
Yeah, and obviously Javarian Smith is coming back, and Connor Miller is coming back. Connor Miller was obviously he was with Barcelona, and he's signed now over with T-Roll. So,
and I think to go back to your question there, like earlier about following guys, certainly we do, but we wanted to sign a quarterback real early. Like, we knew that was important to us, so we didn't have to follow the whole sweepstakes of whoever everybody was trying to get, and we knew J-Dream was our guy from day one. So once we got him, it's not like we're not tracking everything, but it's just kind of a relief. It's a relief. Our guy, you know, we don't have to play against Jalen, some of these other guys, but we got our guy. So it'll be fun to watch these. You know, I forgot. Yeah, Isaiah Weed to Helvetic, like that will be a.
It's gonna be good.
Got to play him
good
twice.
week 1 matchup. Good week 1 matchup for you two for sure. I have to ask you just because I'm that dude, but what's the uniform?
I don't know where this is going.
What's the uniforms looking like?
The unis?
For the uniforms, have they been out yet? We got the preview. I got to talk. Can you release anything?
The uniforms. Have we seen the full version? Yeah. From what I've seen of the uniforms, they look good.
You like them?
Yeah.
So, okay, all right. That's where I was, because I'm a uniform guy. So for
you
me,
are.
like,
and you were a big part. Let's backtrack here. You were a big part of the logo. I don't know if people know that, but
nobody knows that. I did not ever disclose any of that because I am a humble human being and whatnot. But yes.
It was the Storm is a tough thing to find a logo. We went back and forth between is it a tornado? Is it like we don't know. And you said something about Tulane and a wave, and that kind of brought us like, oh, maybe we should look at a wave. And that's what morphed into the Storm logo, which...
Well, I mean, my thought process was, it kind of honors a little bit of the Vikings because, the Vikings, that era, the Scandinavian heritage, and you couldn't really do like an Eye of the Storm because it's so close to the galaxy.
Frankfurt. Yeah, exactly.
And Frankfurt, and it just like, what else can you really do? You're just going to do like a wind, like,
that's what
a tornado wouldn't really make any sense.
Yeah,
so
it looked like
the thunder,
like a cyclone or something.
Yeah. So I just kind of was like, maybe it gives you a little something to do with the Vikings. So.
And we had thought about like a lightning, like something's like a lightning bolt type of thing,
Right?
But it's just the surge.
The surge, and then like the Thunder have the, they have the hammer, so you couldn't use like
that was the other thing.
Like Thor's hammer. So
yeah, we wanted to use Thor's hammer, couldn't use that. We made a joke like at the Storm. The running joke was everybody's already taken all the Nordic logos and symbolisms, and
pretty much.
There's no Nordic team, so it was a little tough, but now we're here.
Yep, just got to get my Nordic Storm gear now whenever it goes on sale, and I will be extremely happy here. So
we're working on it.
No, I believe you.
Well, it's up in Denmark and Sweden, not in the States yet.
No,
not
international.
To figure out the logistics of shipping things halfway across the world, but we're actively in that. Yeah, it's coming.
I believe it. I'm just saying. I mean, and Justin, I got to say this on air. I have not said this on air to anybody other than Randy. But it is extremely important to have to renounce my fandom of the Warclaw Panthers, and I am officially going to become a fan of the Nordic Storm.
Let's go.
For obvious reasons. So I am now a Storm fan. I am sorry, Justin, because I know you are a fellow Panthers fan. I will still cheer for the Panthers just because they are, they still have a little bit of the home thing. But
we have to play them twice. You know that, right? Like.
Oh, I'll be cheering for the Storm the whole time.
Okay, let's go.
That's fine. At any other time that the Panthers aren't playing the Storm, I'll probably cheer for them. So it's very similar to how I run my NFL. I have an NFC team and an AFC team. So
we're not. Hey,
and if
not in their division.
If Washington plays that AFC team, then I cheer for Washington regardless. So that's how it's going to be with the Nordic Storm. So
let's go. I'm pumped.
It's finally official. There it is.
This is awesome.
Official. It is official.
This is great.
Love you, Warclaw. Love you. Still have a good spot in my heart, but it is now a Storm heart.
Yeah, just don't tell like AJ Wetland or something.
I do not plan on telling AJ Wetland, so I will make sure that will stay until like after your second game, I guess.
So we're your team, but I'm the third summer showcase guest.
Yeah, you were the third summer showcase guest. Yeah, I wanted you to have it the off season as an owner to be able to really not have to worry about that. So
I appreciate. Okay, all right.
I was looking out for you, Randy.
I
didn't want to put too much on your plate with you have everything going on as it was. So
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I mean, if I had it my way,
it's the type of guy you are.
If I had it my way, I'd have you back on the show every week if it was my way.
Yeah.
But I also understand that I don't want to overload you either. So
Caroline's looking at me like, what is happening? Oh man.
Caroline,
Jamal,
you can come on the show.
That we're going to be 35-point favorites in the first game.
Helvetic plus 35, under 68. Just bet the rent check.
That's a huge spread. That's a huge spread.
This league has the most teams with singular team names.
That's true.
That is true, actually. Yeah, Storm, the Thunder. Yeah,
that is true.
Hey, Caroline, you want to be on my co-host for next year? For 2025?
I don't understand.
What am I making a comment?
I don't understand why I'm getting booted out here. You're the new co-host for.
Look.
I'm the co-host.
Look, I think we got Justin. I think we got Justin to come to the Storm. Look at this. Look at it. I think we got him.
Go Storm.
Oh, he said it's a self-proclaimed line. So that was the line that he.
Okay.
Jamal.
But Justin, what about week 2 when we're in Warclaw?
Yeah, who are you going to cheer for then, Justin? You're going to cheer for the Storm? You're going to cheer for the Pit? And Randy, I'm not kicking you out. Like, you are more than welcome to come back and be the co-host with me
Michael,
if you like.
Randy just started his own business too.
Did he? Oh, how come we're not plugging that right now, Randy?
Because this is football. I'm cheering on everyone.
All right, everyone. Okay, that's fair. So what's the business? Tell me a little bit about it, Randy. Come on, plug it.
It's not a plug.
I started my own insurance agency. So
Nice.
yeah.
Jamal said, "Are you hiring?" Jamal's
Yeah.
trying to get a job with the Nordic Storm.
I mean, Jamal's down in Florida now, so you guys.
No
he's a lot
way.
clo- Yeah, he's
Really?
closer to you. Yeah, he's closer to you
Jamal,
than
we
you
need
would
to
be now.
keep up more. I'm sorry, man. I didn't know you were in Florida.
I just found out 2 weeks ago or so because he was talking about the Gators, and
Where in Florida? I'm in Florida often. I went to school down there. I got a bunch of friends down there. Let's go.
Justin has jokes.
What
Justin
is
does have jokes.
I'm
he's
chilling
gonna
out.
plug on all his socials with the meme that he's gonna make.
Jamal said, I said Jamal wanted a job with the Nordic Storm, and he put retweet CK's customers.
That's
At
awesome.
least this is fun for the 5 of us that are here.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, for everybody that's out there listening, I mean, obviously it's gone a little bit off the rails here, but this is usually what happens at Summer Showcase when you have
West
all
Palm
of
Beach.
us here. So
Wait, Jamal,
Yep,
I went to PBA.
Yeah.
oh, look at that! See,
Congrats,
since
man.
December 2nd, he got out before the snow. He was smart. Jamal,
Yeah.
we miss you in Maine, but you were smart.
So
Stay in
you're
Florida.
just up in Maine by yourself now.
Yeah, I'm lonely. I'm just gonna die of depression up here by myself.
Okay.
That's cool. Yeah.
It's probably like what 20 degrees up there right now, or is it not bad?
No, it was actually 44 today. It was actually somewhat nice. So
Nice. Okay.
yeah, I mean, we got 6 inches of snow coming again, but
Gosh. Tomorrow it's going to be like 80 in North Carolina. And
Oh, yeah,
Jamal
just-
lives in 80 degrees all the time.
just rub it in. Just rub it in.
Jamal's gonna be in 100 degrees here soon.
I wouldn't
Just-
choose to live there in the
just-
sun.
Jamal,
rub it
wait
in.
till the summer, baby.
Yeah, you're
we
on
had
the sun.
nothing like a summer, like a training camp in South Florida when I played there. Oh my goodness, it was 110 degrees with 90% humidity. It was awesome.
How cold is it get in Copenhagen?
Cold.
Cold.
Cold?
Not as cold as you would think. It's like
It's just windy.
it's
and
just like
cold.
straight 20,
Windy?
straight
Yeah.
30.
It's right on it's on the Baltic, so you kind of get that breeze all the
Yeah,
time.
you get that.
So
You guys
if
get, is it a lot of lake or water or ocean? I guess it's the ocean. I guess so. It probably wouldn't be lake effect snow like Buffalo gets.
It's not as heavy.
No.
It's
No.
more like Seattle kind of weather.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's like it rain. It's temper. It's not going to get like -30, but if it's it's not a
Jamal
good-
says he's gonna move. Yeah, he's gonna move to my
Yeah.
house when it gets to be 100 down there all the time.
Exactly.
So
Man, we'll have to link up in West Palm. Sorry, I'm not in Maine at all, Mike.
oh hey, I'm used to it. We're literally 7 years behind on everything, so it's okay. I completely understand it. The fact that we even are able to link up and you're in North Carolina and we're not having a 7-year lag while we talk is incredible. So
Back to Copenhagen weather in the summertime when we lived there a few years ago. If it was like 73, 75, it would be like extreme heat warning.
Yeah, on your phone, you get like an extreme heat warning.
so it's like Canada then basically.
Oh,
Yeah.
on like
It's like
on
Canada.
the-
Yeah.
what do you call that? The latitude, longitude stuff.
Which one is latitude? Which one is longitude? This show
Longitude.
is completely off the rails, Mike.
We're completely off the rail. Longitude's up and down, latitude's left to right.
Okay, it's like actually with Canada.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm probably more north than you. Maine is more north than parts of Canada.
I would
Yeah.
say it's higher than you, but
Yeah, probably. I mean, maybe. I'm not sure. I
we
don't know.
can stop
doesn't-
talking about
It
weather.
doesn't. The coolest part about Copenhagen is in the summer it doesn't get dark till like midnight.
Yeah,
11.
literally.
Oh.
It's
Yeah,
cool.
okay.
It's dark for like 2 hours.
It's so,
So it's
high
like
up.
it's like Alaska then.
Mhm.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, cool. That's the
Yeah.
All right. Well,
And Justin's in Texas. So Justin's in the warm weather too.
yeah, but he hates it. He hates it.
See, after living in the cold, and I would much rather be in 100-degree weather than 10-degree weather any day.
Yeah, I don't like the cold either, and I'm stuck in Maine, so that's fun. So when are you
Sorry,
gonna
what other storm questions you got?
Yeah, so I was just actually going to say,
Oh,
so what do
weather,
you?
the storm.
Right.
Yeah, weather, storm. You could see
You
Caroline's
do
doing
need to be
stuff.
the co-host. That was
Yeah,
great.
see?
That was a good
But-
segment.
I was actually going to say, when are you going to bring the main storm, like a main team to when are you going to do that?
Man, I
I'm
have
not
no
tracking.
idea what's going on. I'm not tracking. When am I going to bring the main storm?
Yeah, it's to be like a farm system for you guys in Nordic. for the Nordic?
Oh, the main storm.
The main storm.
Not the state. Sorry,
Not
it's
the
like the main storm.
the main
Yeah,
storm.
let's do it.
I'll run the team. I'll run the team over here for you.
Sounds good. If you have a, we're trying to find
That's the hard
collaborations
part.
all across the globe. We're about
No
to
doubt.
collaborate with the South Korean team. We got
Oh,
a lot of
nice.
stuff. So
That's awesome.
hey, if there's a main team that we can collaborate with, then let's do it.
There's a
The
South
only
Korean
issue is
football
he-
team?
Big Four Americans.
Yeah,
Like American football?
yeah.
Like you're not looking just for kickers. Like it's an actual American football team? Oh, that's crazy.
And
You got a new thing to bet on, Michael.
If I can find it, let's do it.
it's very much it's very much in its infancy there, but the guy who started it, or one of the guys that started it up, is got connected with us, and yeah, we're happy to
Hey, that's awesome. I mean, hey,
spread the
like I
word
said,
on some South Korean football.
hey, football is a universal language. I mean,
That's
you're
right.
talking, it's worldwide, and everybody plays it when they can. I mean, it's growing, and the ELF is going to be the forefront for that in Europe. So
It is, and
Sure.
that's, I think, the most exciting part, is just to see how much it has grown the last few years,
Yeah.
where it's going. It's awesome, and it's because of people in part like you and Justin and Jamal that promote it. So thank you.
yeah, I mean, just doing our part, man. Like I love watching football and talking football all the time. So for the viewers out there, thank you for sticking through the off the rails segment there. Maybe we'll have to make a segment there for that, the summer showcase, and invite Randy back every 2 weeks to just go off the rails for stuff,
Yeah.
Chat question, Randy, what will your day-to-day look like since you're not a player or coach?
Yeah,
That's a good
it's
question.
a lot
Jamal.
of. It is a good question.
What will or what does your day look like?
Yeah, I'll go through both. So right now, there's 5 board members, and then we have our GM, and then there's people working the day-to-day operations. The 5 board members are more high level, and we kind of have the areas that we each oversee, if you will. So mine was player personnel, right, getting coaches and players and all that, and overseeing that part of the operation. And ticketing is another one, and then the American off the rails sponsor by CK Cuss.
I'm out.
I'm out. I'm out, she says.
So at the beginning, it was player personnel, ticketing, and then working on the American side of investors. So I'll kind of break it down. So player personnel, that obviously once we got Shoop, became a lot easier to handle, since he's the one doing a lot of the recruiting in Pella. But it was just being involved in those conversations, helping as much as I could, sometimes reaching out to players if we need to, have an extra hand and trying to recruit somebody. And then ticketing, getting everything set up so the league goes through Ticketmasters. We just got everything set up through there. And that's an ongoing thing as the season gets closer. There's a lot of little things that we got to do. Jamal said, love you, CK. Go Pack Go. And then the American side, that's been fun. Just trying to get American investors on board with this project. So I started an American company that's essentially just a pass-through entity for the Nordic Storm. So we take on American investors to make it just easier, because when you invest in a Danish company, there's a lot of tax implications. So we take on that responsibility. Of a great manager, Robert Taylor, that does a lot of that stuff. And we set up a company. So anybody that invests on the American side through that American entity, entity invests in the Nordic Storm. So I think right now the American side owns like maybe the 3rd most shares or something of the Nordic Storm. So
Nice.
That's been fun. That's been the day-to-day. So it's just getting investors, getting ticketing set up, making sure we have players, and that was at the beginning. So that has now, our chair of the board said it perfectly the other day in a board meeting. He said we had to kind of carry the baby around for a while, and now we're letting it walk, and it's been awesome. Like just everything Pella Christensen has done to get this team like fully operational from literally having, this is a business, right? From startup to, we're still a startup, but now it's fully operational. It's just hats off to him. And we now as a board can kind of take a little bit of a step back from the day-to-day operations. And so now it's more just high level. So going forward, it's, hey, how do we drive ticket sales? How do we drive investors? How do we get sponsors? Just more like high level stuff, which is what a board is supposed to do anyway. So that's a long-winded answer, Jamal, but that's kind of what a day-to-day looks like. Like today, I was talking with one of the board members for a while about an investor presentation and just some other stuff. So, yeah.
So a lot of thrilling stuff.
Yeah, the business side.
That's the business side, the thrilling stuff of it. The stuff that people don't realize goes into it.
Yeah, the stuff that has to be done, right? That's maybe behind the scenes. But I've really, really thoroughly enjoyed it. And I knew I always kind of wanted to get into something like this when I was done playing. It keeps me involved in the game, keeps me feeling like I'm a part of something special. And then when the season kicks off, we will go over there, Jamal. So like we'll be over there in Zurich for the first game. And then because I can't miss the very first game of the Nordic Storm. And then we'll be over there in June and July. We'll be over there for the home opener and some other stuff. So obviously that will be a little more fun. We'll be watching some football and cheering on our guys. So,
and maybe someday you'll make room for a scouting team with some guy from Maine. Maybe.
Heck yeah, absolutely.
Chat question. We've got a chat question from Jamal again. He says, "What's the most important thing for the Nordic Storm season opener to be success outside of football?" Another great question. I was actually going to kind of allude to that as well a little bit with my next question. So we'll just go ahead and let you answer that one.
It's being as professional as possible. And what I mean by that is, here's a perfect example. When we had our combine, I'll back up. Everything over there for viewers out there that maybe don't know how it works in Europe, everything is on a club level in Europe for the most part. The ELF is the only true professional league. Yes, some guys are more semi-professional. They need to have jobs outside of the team, and some of them maybe go to school. And we're trying to get to the point where it's fully professional. But everything else is a club. And so the players have player dues they have to pay. There's a lot of stuff, distractions outside of football. I remember one time we were headed to a game in Denmark that I was playing, and a coach was going around the bus collecting fees for the bus ride from all the players. And I was like, this is crazy. I'm just something that I've never seen in the States. So we wanted guys on this team to feel like they were professional athletes from day one. So I remember at the combine, we handed everybody their own jersey in a bag. Like they showed up, they all had a bag with their number on it, their names, they had a jersey, all this stuff. I remember this one kid came up to me after the combine and was like, "Hey, Randy, where do I put this back? Like, who do I give this back to?" And I was like, this is yours. Go home.
Go home with it.
Yeah. Go wear it to sleep tonight, whatever. It's yours. And the look on his face was like, it was like Christmas. And I think just something that small. So it's about trying to make sure the guys feel like this is a professional organization. Yeah, there's going to be some things we screw up, but like I said, I mean, Pella has done a good job of trying to make this a professional outfit. So when we travel to Helvetic outside of football, Jamal, it's about how can we keep these guys focused on the game, not focused on all the stuff all the distractions, all the outside stuff, travel. And a lot of these players have never got on a plane to fly to a game. You're taking 20-hour bus rides. So it's just making sure these guys are ready to go for a game and kind of like put the blinders on. And that's our job as a board. That's our job as a GM. That's our job in operations to make sure that guys feel like this is a professional outfit. I don't know if that makes sense, but
it makes perfect sense. And you guys are setting the bar and the standard that the ELF needs. If you want my honest opinion, like I'm not saying anything about other teams. It's not a knock on other teams, But to have a team with an ownership group that is willing to do that and set the standard of professionalism across the board when you are a professional football league, the blueprint's there. Right now, it's just a matter of getting the funds for every team to be able to do that. It's infancy, so it's always like you don't want to run before you walk type of situation. But you guys are setting an example that I think is going to be important for the ELF with deciding expansion teams down the road too.
Well, we appreciate that, you saying that. I mean, and another huge part of it is, I mean, Michael Planeta, the chair of the board. He's the he owns the most amount. He owns the most amount of the team. He's the majority owner, and Lars Green as well. They're okay with making sure that guys have what they need, and I think that's so important. And it trickles down to everything else that we do. So, it's just for what everybody wants to make jokes about the salary cap and are the Storm playing by the salary cap rules. The salary cap is the same for everybody. And so it's how can you create a professional outfit outside of the salary cap in terms of like if you can pay the players the same way, but if they're not treated like professional athletes, then it's not really apples to apples. So we're just trying to make sure that players feel like they're taken care of.
And honestly, from a player perspective and a player standpoint, and you being a former player, like I'm sure that you can totally appreciate when an organization that you are playing for appreciates you and treats you as such. So,
and all the guys like Michael Planeta, he played. Jacob Muntsgaard, he was the Towers president for a long time. Peter Fries was the Tigers president. He runs the largest sports gear company in Denmark. He's been around football for forever. Lars Green's son plays on the team. That's Jacob Green's dad. So it's just we all been there. We all get it. And so we're just trying to make it a good experience for these guys.
Yeah, for sure. I'm Michael Washington here with Summer Showcase, a special edition, talking a little bit about Nordic Storm, going off the rails a little bit, talking a little bit of ELF preview. I throw up random comments sometimes to try to catch Randy in the middle of talking and see if I can get him to break character. He does a pretty good job at not doing that. Thank you again for Sam Shady and Shady Sports Network. Thank you for Justin. Thank you for Jamal for all tuning in. Randy, I don't really have anything else as far as the Nordic Storm side is concerned and asking you any of the questions coming up. We've had an hour show here. I've touched base on most everything else. Do you have anything that you want to say? I usually give the floor out. I don't want to say this is technically like an interview, but I always give the floor to somebody at the end whenever I'm done the show or whatever. So do you have anything you want to give a shout out to or say hi to or anything?
I'm checking my phone because Justin told me to now, so I'm a little distracted.
Oh, he might have sent it to me. Oh, you know what? He sent it to me.
Justin,
I don't know if he sent it to you.
I'll have to check that out after Justin. Oh man. No, I think all the talk of the Storm and all that aside, like I just appreciate the fact, and I say this every time I get on, but Michael, Jamal, Justin, Sam, Shady, I just appreciate the platform that you all and you all have spent so much of your time, your free time that you could be spending with family or working or doing whatever to shed light on these niche sports, niche football sports, which is just so cool. And I appreciate the platform that you've given me. And let's just keep spreading the good word about American football in Europe because it's exploding right now. And I'm just excited that we're in on it, like we're part of that future, the Storm is. And so that's a big point for us this year is, guys, it's not often you have the opportunity to be a part of the first something, and we do this year. So let's make the most of it. So we just appreciate you guys.
Yeah, and we appreciate you taking time out of your day and coming on. And I tell you this all the time, especially off air and whatever. For us and for me specifically, I mean, I can attest to most of the people at Shady Sports Network as well, and I'm sure Jamal and Justin feel the same way. But we're always about the players, and it's cool when ex-players start getting into the other side of things and start taking care of those players, because it really shows the appreciation across the board when you have professionalism at every level. So definitely excited for the Nordic Storm season coming up, and I absolutely love the fact that you take time out and talk to me as well, because our first interview, I never expected this to happen.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, man. It really has. So thank you. And I definitely want to do some shows during the season. We have to do some at
Randy,
least.
you are more than welcome to come on. Me and Jamal we got to touch base, because I think that if I can't have you, I'd like to have Jamal as a co.
Heck yeah.
If he's willing to do it, and maybe do a simultaneous cast with his podcast as well, for sure. Justin Tessier, I hope I pronounced your name right. He's with Shady Sports Network. He does fantasy reports. He just checking out the show tonight as well. So
Yeah, awesome, Justin.
he wants you to dominate Europe as well. I think that we made a fan of him with
Let's
with
go.
the show tonight.
Look, hey, we're gonna have a lot of things. For as much as we talk tonight, there's gonna be, like I said, a lot of things we screw up, a lot of things we wish we did better, and we just got to learn. But we're just excited to be a part of this league and this sport that's growing in Europe. So yeah.
Off of that note, let me ask you this one last question before we go ahead and end the show here.
Yeah.
If there was one learning curve that you are anticipating, what's the learning curve that you're anticipating this season?
Yeah. It's the fact that a lot of these guys have never played in the league. So as someone that has played in the league, it's a lot faster. It's a lot more hard hitting. It's a lot more. It's hard to prepare. It's hard to prepare someone that hasn't played in this league that's European. And no knock against anyone. It's just a different level, and that's, I think, going to be the biggest hurdle for these guys. But I think that with the coaching staff that we have and the guys we brought in, the players we brought in, like I said, I hope we can accelerate that learning curve, and I know we can. But that's I think going to be the biggest hurdle we gotta face this year.
Emphasis on coaching, I'm assuming. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure Coach Shoop is has his staff in good hands, but I'm sure there's an emphasis on coaching for sure, because this league is definitely coach driven. Like,
it certainly is, and so I would put so the coaching staff that we have is like I couldn't have picked better guys. Like, it's just not that I picked them. I'm saying, like, nobody.
I know what you mean, though.
Nobody could have picked better guys, in my opinion, than the coaching staff that we have. I'm pumped to see them in action. So that will hopefully shorten the learning curve for some of these guys. Now, I don't know what the learning curve is going to be. It could be one play and you're like, hey, I'm in it now. This is ELF football. Let's go. And that's or one game or a month. We just don't. That's one of those unknowns of this season that is going to be fun to navigate. It's something that we've talked about as a coaching staff. So it's just the quicker we can accelerate that learning curve, the better.
Yeah. Hey, and Justin, I'd love to have you on too, man. I'd love to talk ELF with you. We talk all the time of, European stuff, football and everything overseas. So I'd like to get you on as well. I mean, that'd be really cool. I'm all about it, man. Like, the more people that come on, the bigger the awareness, the bigger the word gets spread out more. And that's what I'm about, man. I just want it for you guys. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, check out Nordic Storm. Check out the ELF, the European League of Football. The ELF has a pass that you can purchase. It's a little over $100 American, but you get over 100 games. So it's basically breaks down to about $1 a game or so. So it's well worth it, in my opinion, to pay out for that league pass by all means, as well. And to be honest with you, you get to see a wonderful team that's professionally run with Jadrian Clark and Glenn Tunga on the same team yet again. Two former champions, two former MVPs, and two former champions in new threads that I'm hoping to see here in the near future. For sure. To Justin again, thank you. Make sure you go follow him on X. He does a fantastic job of showing highlights of a lot of things. Every league that you can think of, indoor, outdoor, small country, big country, go follow him as well. Athletes Forum podcast, Jamal, my man. Even though you are a Gator, I still have nothing but love and respect for you by all means, and appreciate you tuning in on a day-to-day basis and whenever I have the shows, or week-to-week basis, I guess you could say, and being my unofficial producer and stat man. I love that. Justin Kahn said at jkelm Cougs 91. That's his little handle. I'll throw that up there for anybody who might want to go ahead and have that. Yeah, you beat Maryland. I know. The Gators are a good team, and
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from them on the basketball side, but I hope they burn. Anything else as far as that's concerned? And again, shout out to Sam Shady and Shady Sports Network. So make sure you follow the ELF if you don't know anything about it, and you can catch me here on Summer Showcase once the season starts weekly, and hopefully got some big things on the horizon with player interviews and whatnot as well. I'm Michael Washington. He's Randy Schroeder. Until next time, so long.